Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And once again, this is the one-day chart. We're sitting here at $2.42. XRP still looks very good right now. We're just kind of going sideways, waiting for the breakout to happen. And if you look at the all-time chart, this is where people think we are right now. Right here, going sideways, waiting for this to happen. And if that happens, let me tell you something. This is going to be an epic run. You could already see it coming. You know, all those catalysts waiting to happen for XRP. This run is going to be absolutely incredible. And everybody's saying, you better be holding XRP. It's going to happen on this day. It's going to happen on that day. But nobody could call this market 100%. You know when it's going to happen? When we all least expect it. All of a sudden, XRP is just going to break out. And it is going to be absolutely spectacular when that day comes. Ripple XRP average price in 2025. New benchmark established. I don't like anything about this article. First of all, they're saying that XRP may achieve $5. I think we're going much higher than $5. But they're saying that the average price for 2025 is going to be around $3. I keep seeing people saying that we're going to have this fantastic run up all the way up to like $50, but then we're going to come crashing all the way down around $2 again. I don't see that happening. Honestly, if we get above $30, I think maybe we come back down to around $13 for XRP. And that's where XRP would trade. And then it would have gradual upward movement based on utility, actual usage of XRP, maybe by the banks. We got to see how this all plays out from here. Everybody's calling for so many different things. People are saying expect a major crash all the way down under $1 before we take off. I just don't see that happening. XRP forms a bull flag pattern targeting $15, backed by surging open interest and historical bullish momentum. This comes from Cointelegraph, and I think that's a very conservative price point. I still think we're going to go much higher in this run. Most likely come in maybe between $27 and $35 if we're following the 2017-2018 run. But there's too many things to factor in this time around. And that's why I tell you, just sit back and wait for it to happen. Now, in a video yesterday, I talked about the banks utilizing XRP for ODL and what that magical number could possibly be. ChatGPT believes an XRP price of $100 to $1,000 could be sufficient to satiate the demand for larger volumes of funds, a demand that would come from mass adoption among banks. Like I said in that video, we start out maybe at $100. It would shake out a lot of weak hands. Then all of a sudden, more banks jump on board. Price steadily rises. Eventually, we hit $1,000. More banks come on board. All of a sudden, we start heading towards $2,000 and $3,000. It can happen over time, is what I'm saying. And it will shake out a lot of the weak hands along the way. That's why this makes sense to me. Because they're not going to want every single person to get rich. And not every XRP holder is going to get rich. Because a lot of them are going to sell in this run. Once XRP gets to $10, a lot of people will be out. Then if we achieve $20, more people will jump out, sell their entire bag. And that will continue to happen at different price points along the way. A lot of people are going to sell expecting that major dip as well. That might never come. And we might end up going higher and higher. And those people will end up paying more to get back into XRP. A lot can happen. But David Schwartz said XRP cannot be at a cheap price, and I agree with that. I think eventually XRP will achieve 5 digits. When is that going to happen? Most likely in the next couple of years, because I think we're going to have a big surge in 2025. But as we start onboarding banks, that could take possibly a year, maybe a little bit longer. Plus, you got to look at Ripple coming together with Swift. That could easily get us to 3 digits as well. A lot is going to happen over the coming months. Let's stick to the short term, and then we'll start looking at long-term predictions from there. Only 2,601 XRP. You know, these experts, so-called experts, always reveal how much XRP you need to hold. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Invest whatever you could afford to lose. Sit back and you will make a lot of money. Don't try to overinvest, doing what these people are telling you to do. And they're citing the rich list. They're saying if you want to be in the top 10% or you want to be in the top 5%, you need to hold this amount of XRP. There's the rich list. Doesn't mean you have to hold that amount of XRP. Some people need a lot more XRP to retire than someone else. Like I always told you, everybody's lifestyle is different. Don't overinvest into XRP. I want you to be able to sit back, stay patient, get to that passive income, get to the much higher price points on XRP without having to worry about, getting gas to get back and forth to work, buying food. Everybody's lifestyle is different. And I think a lot of the people that tell people to do this, they have a lot more money than most people. And never share how much XRP you're holding with other people. In other words, don't put it in the comment section down below, is what I'm saying. XRP will flip Bitcoin. I keep saying the same thing. Here's the price point that XRP needs to get to. XRP would need to multiply 14.29x in price to surpass Bitcoin's current market cap. Required XRP price is $34.15. I see people saying XRP is going to pull a 30x from here. Other people are saying much higher, a 200x from where it's sitting right now. Nobody knows what's about to happen. I do know this. Anybody not holding XRP is going to be filled with a lot of regret over the coming weeks. You either get invested now because the price is still very undervalued, even at $2.40 compared to where it's going, or you get left behind. Because once XRP goes, it's going to happen very quick. Now, here's a video of Brad Garlinghouse, and he talks a little bit about what's going on, and he wants to say something, and he stumbles over his words. And Digital Asset Investor says, I've been watching Brad Garlinghouse interviews for a long time. Often you could tell he's dying to say the quiet part out loud, but can't, because the CEO in him holds him back. Completely understandable. My gut says this is one of those times, and my gut is 99.9% right most of the time. Lock in. Take a listen to what Brad says here.
So, look, I don't think about it as a kind of there's up to the minute valuation stuff. But I think it's safe to assume that the 11 billion is very outdated at this point. the total value of the XRP we own now exceeds 100 billion. And that is another mark. One of the things I don't know how to get my head around exactly is the way that Ripple has traded in the secondary private markets has been at a significant discount.
Now, when he says that, is he actually talking about XRP being traded on the private ledger? Because a lot of people keep saying that they seen the private ledger and the price of XRP on the private ledger is in the thousands. Or is he talking about Ripple stock? I don't know what Brad is actually talking about there, but I honestly believe he's talking about XRP.
To net asset value. Some would say MicroStrategy is comparable in some ways, but trades at I think 3x premium to net asset value. And you think, that's interesting. Again, I'm not anti MicroStrategy. I hope is a massive success and keeps doing what they're doing. And look, Ripple has been in a position where we have not prioritized going public. That didn't really make any sense in the previous SEC administration. Maybe that changes in the future, and we'll evaluate that as things unfold.
I think Brad is gonna IPO in 2025. I think once we get a pro-crypto chair at the SEC, he's most likely going to do the IPO. And he could have been talking about Ripple stock there, because then he goes on to talk about an IPO and MicroStrategy as well, which he can't wrap his head around. But what he's telling you, this is going to be big. And he wanted to say a lot more in that clip, but you could see him stumbling over the words because some things they're just not allowed to talk about. And talking about the private ledger, because I have so many people telling me, if you look at the private ledger right now, XRP is at a much higher price. XRP does not have two prices, one on the private ledger and one on the public ledger. Take a listen.
But the question is, will the value of XRP be the same in the private ledgers as it is on the public?
Yes. The value proposition of XRP is that it has these liquidity pools. If it doesn't make sense to isolate something, like there's no place where gold is worth twice as much as it is now, because if there was, people would just bring gold there and they would they would buy gold somewhere else and they would sell it there. Unless the only way that you can have the value be very different in two places is if there's a lot of friction. And if there's friction, someone will make a business of removing that friction. So I don't see any realistic scenario where XRP has significantly different value unless something's wrong. So like a good example of a case, there was a time where the value of XRP, they called it the kimchi premium, right? Where the value of XRP in some Asian countries was very high, but that was because there were capital controls, right? That was because things were bad. I think that's a sign that something is not going well. The value proposition of XRP is that you can take it to all of the places, right? If I sell you some gold and you say, hey, this gold can only be used in jewelry, you're like, well, that kind of sucks. I don't want that gold, right? The value proposition of gold is that you have access to the entire value proposition of gold. And so I don't see any scenario in which where it makes sense to snip pieces off, again, unless.
And I always looked at it like this. If the value was so high on the private ledger, right, people would want to buy it on the public ledger and then go sell it on the private ledger. Somebody would have exposed that by now. And I always said it. There's nowhere else in the world where your XRP is worth more than $2.40 some cents right now. But we did, however, see people in Korea buy XRP at $50. But that's because demand there was so much higher. And the price ended up going that high. And there was still buyers of it at that price. But that only happens in like extreme scenarios. But there's going to come a day where XRP is at $50. And maybe it's at 3 digits. And there's going to be buyers at those price points everywhere in the world because the demand is going to be so high at that moment. And I think once XRP starts getting that utility driving the price, it's going to happen very quick. You know, everybody says it's going to take a decade for XRP to hit these price points. But you could see how fast the world is moving right now. Everybody wants real-time payments. 90% of banks say customers would benefit from real-time payments, and 44% of banks plan to build real-time payment rails outside their current payments technology stacks. They are going to go with someone like Ripple to build those rails for them. Banks, they don't build technology. Banks do what banks do. Ripple does what Ripple does. These banks will just adopt RippleNet and XRP. But the whole world wants fast, cheap, and secure. They don't want long, drug-out payments happening that take 2 and 3 days to settle, and they're very expensive. The world is moving towards real-time payments, and when that's happening, a lot of these banks are going to choose RippleNet and XRP. So adoption will happen very quick. You know, Bitcoin maxis always complain because people speak out against Bitcoin. You see it right here. The strongest way to slow Bitcoin adoption is misinformation. The most used misinformation has been the environment, energy narrative. The fastest way to accelerate Bitcoin adoption is to fix the environment, energy narrative. You know, we all know Bitcoin is slow. It's very expensive and it's very energy consuming. So that is all fact. But you know, the same Bitcoin maxis complaining about misinformation were the same people trying to slow down XRP. And Anders pointed this out. The strongest way to slow XRP adoption is misinformation. The most used misinformation has been the decentralization narrative. The fastest way to accelerate XRP and XRP ledger adoption is to fix the decentralization narrative. And that's what they always called XRP, the banker's coin. Why would you ever buy that banker's coin? It's centralized. The banks are going to control XRP. But here we are in 2024, and everyone knows better. We all know the XRP ledger and XRP is decentralized. Bitcoin, however, now here in 2025, is becoming more and more centralized. BlackRock is going to fork Bitcoin. They're going to tokenize Bitcoin. What fixes Bitcoin is it becoming a tokenized asset on the XRP ledger, on the Stellar network, the Hedera network, XDC network. Because if you want to move Bitcoin fast and cheap, you do it over the XRP ledger. But you know, the narrative is going to shift. Watch how fast the entire narrative shifts once Bitcoin comes crashing down after this run. I'm expecting one more move up for Bitcoin. Then it will start to come crashing down as XRP and all these altcoins are skyrocketing in price. That's what we got to look forward to. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.